Voluntary poverty is just not popular. In fact, it never has been popular. The worldly have always seen it as a threat and as a rebuke. Still, popularity has nothing to do with the truth. And what Jesus says stands: happy are you poor. Particularly today, the cynical and worldly tend to reject this statement. To them, it just seems false. They appeal to the destitute of the third world as evidence for their rejection and accuse Christians of a cruel romanticism for claiming that the poor are happy or that the poor are blessed. But they forget that Jesus, who said this, was poor himself. He had nowhere to lay his head. He was not romanticizing a distant, vague notion of poverty. He was poor himself, and he practiced what he preached. And they're also confusing destitution and poverty, as is so often the case. We're not called to condone destitution, but to wipe it out. Still, this beatitude holds. Those who are destitute but who possess the love of God are happier than the tight fisted rich. And finally, these cynics and these critics equate happiness with pleasure. And since poverty entails less access to pleasures, they think it must entail a lack of happiness. But in this, they are superficial and mistaken, because pleasure is a physical, localized sensation, while joy springs from immaterial realities, from an appreciation of goodness, truth, and beauty. Joy is just as accessible to the poor as it is to the rich. In fact, it's more accessible to the poor. Pleasures are all limited in duration. If we try and prolong them indefinitely, they lose all the pleasure that they once had. As Fally Dubé says, too much ice cream does not bring any pleasure at all. But the joy of the Lord is unbounded. Pleasures can be taken away, but the Lord says, your joy no one can take away from you. Pleasures are good, but focusing on them can trap us in this current world. The rich are trapped in a prison of material cares and concerns. Joy, however, sets us free. Deep down, even the worldly do know this. They know that they are bored and unhappy, that they are empty at the core, but they won't face what Fally Dubé calls their colossal inner blah. And in an attempt to escape from this, they throw themselves into pleasures that can never satisfy. And this leads to them ending up being trapped in addictions and unhappiness. St. Augustine is a great example of this. He experienced all kinds of worldly pleasures, but eventually found that they were all pale in comparison with the joy of the Lord. And many of the saints found likewise. Despite their austerities, the saints are known for their joy. And this is because we're all made for the infinite love of God, and nothing else can really satisfy us. Material wealth is attractive for the moment, but can impede the quest. Ultimately, only the poor are truly happy with the infinite love of God.